and a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining us here today. We come together every month to act as supports to each other, but as sovereign creators of our own experience. Michael's going to talk about that today, as well as, throwing in a few of his own insights about the shift of energy that all of us are feeling on this planet right now. We are, of course, streaming today's live broadcast from our home studio in the beautiful Willamette Valley of Oregon. And no matter where you call home, welcome. Thank you for sharing your presence with this global gathering of awakened human beings, some of which are now living their life fully conscious, fully awakened, and perhaps, much to their surprise, that moment wasn't filled with a lot of fireworks. It was more like a big aha moment, realizing there's really no place to go, there is nothing to become. All of us received the same invitation from our soul to return back to our own unique presence. And the timing for that could not have been any better, because the energies on this planet are now at an all-time high. From the human perspective, it represents a very emotional experience. It can place a lot of stress on your mind, because what feels so natural to your soul, your own divine nature, is for the most part unknown to those human parts. We'll talk more about that as well. These new energies are also impacting your relationship to your body, your health and well-being. They are impacting your willingness to be in receivership of the unlimited support that is being freely shared energetically as we speak. And if that statement makes no sense to your mind, well, maybe it's time to change your focus. Most of you that are watching today's show, you know how we feel about this thing called abundance. If money was called a warm glow of the sun or the gentle breeze of the wind, maybe a lot more of you would embrace it as being in service to your life. We're not judging anyone here, but why do we say it like that? Because what we call money is just your own energy with a funny name on it. If indeed you have chosen to live a soul-filled life, if only the mind would stop interfering with such a primal gift, one that you are sharing with yourself over and over again. Oh, we know a lot of people use money to help support a variety of power games. But within the choice to now experience life inside your own presence, well, you begin to perceive money as a vehicle to help move your energy from one place to another. More on that as well later. So let's take that deep breath. Feel into all the layers of energies that are here today. Some of them are speaking directly to your own heart. So this isn't a good time to let yourself get distracted. This isn't a good time to cling to what is known to your mind. This is a time to pay close attention to what is happening in your life right now. at the core of the heart of your own soul, there is a presence that is unique to you and only you. But are you feeling it, my friends? Are you feeling it? Because it's so easy to let those thoughts and all that mind chatter distract you from what is really going on in this moment. What is going on? Well, from our perspective, it represents truly an opportunity of a lifetime. If you're willing to allow the presence of your soul to now be present. Because that, my friends, represents a major shift of consciousness on this planet. One that has you feeling, for no reason at all, that all is good in your life. No worries, no concerns. And yeah, of course, we know if you say that to our human family, they would think that you are incredibly naive or misinformed. But the reason you feel so attracted to such a state of consciousness is because it's your birthright to own this, to experience it. It represents your natural state of being. Contrary to the one that all of us incarnated into. So this is the time, right now, that all of you have been waiting for, hoping for, praying for. Time for what? It's time to take flight. It is. It's time to take flight, to soar above all those underlying doubts, worries, and concerns. It's time to free yourself of all those conditions you inherited. So maybe now is also a really good time just to rest and to relax, to enjoy a hot cup of your favorite drink next to a warm fireplace, maybe while listening to some of your favorite episodes of Conversations with Michael. But maybe this is also a really good time to just stop altogether. Stop doing life long enough to actually feel the presence of your own soul. And we're going to come back to that as well. Let's take a deep breath there. And before we turn this over to Michael, if you're feeling a little stuck or just need some additional support or guidance, stop beating yourself up right now. Stop it for not being the only perfect human being on this planet. Awakening to the presence of your soul is one thing. That was the easy part. But allowing that presence to also exist at the front of your life is not an easy thing to do. If you truly want to soar above all those underlying doubts, worries, and concerns, and free yourself of all those conditions you inherited, well, the upcoming I Spirit 2 course was created to help you experience such a freedom. This course has sold out every year since 2015, in part because we limit the size of all of our workshops and classes, because it allows us to support each of you in a more personal, in a more direct way. This kind of work for us is not just about becoming more informed. You can do that anytime you want using a Google search. We take that deep dive into your own story so that you can experience your soul with your human self by offering tangible solutions to help you experience all the benefits from living a soul-filled life. And if you're new to our work, or just beginning to awaken to the presence of your own soul, we recommend that you first check out our video on demand classes. You'll find those in our online store before participating in the iSpirit 1 or 2 course. And on that note, let's take that deep breath together. As I once again allow Michael to once again step forward as being a part of my own soul nature. Indeed I am. Thank you, Robert. It is I, Michael. And this is indeed a very good time to experience being human, because it does offer the opportunity of a lifetime to experience the freedom that already exists inside your soul by shifting your reliance from doing life as that relates to your thinking process to the joy that is a natural part of just being. Just being. And because so many of you have embraced such an opportunity, have you noticed, my friends, a major shift in the energy on this planet, both as it relates to sensing a deeper trust that all is indeed good inside of your creations, and all those parts of you that have a really hard time trusting that such a feeling, such an experience is even real. We can see it unfolding from our own non-physical perspective. Oh, of course, we've seen numerous shifts throughout the entire history of this planet, but nothing quite like what we're seeing now. It is inviting all of you to pay attention to how you're feeling. So much of our service has to do with you recognizing how the radiance of your soul feels to your human part. That experience will help guide you back to being inside your own reality. And from that place, you'll be able to discern what parts of you are speaking on behalf of you. This represents self-mastery in action. Because for most of your life, you have unconsciously entertained a variety of different energies. The majority support themselves by creating a lot of drama in their life, by speaking on behalf of all those underlying doubts, worries, and concerns, by placing their attention on the pain and struggle that unfortunately has become a natural part of the human experience. But our question remains, is it really natural? Is it? Does it feel natural to you to experience any pain or suffering? So after all of these lifetimes, while feeling stuck inside of these very dense physical bodies, are you not beginning to feel a type of lightness in the air as we speak, as if someone just opened a window inside of a very stuffy room. And the room we're referring to is, of course, the collective consciousness of this human family. It can be a real challenge to feel a sincere passion for staying here if you're not feeling the expansion we are referring to. While at the same time, for some, it can also feel like that this is their time to say goodbye to the entire human experience. They experience the presence of their soul, but the adventure here on earth no longer appeals to them for a variety of reasons. It's all honored. All of it is honored. But for those of you that are just so determined to stay, well, the collective consciousness of this human family, as you've discovered, can interfere with your natural ability to experience a true joy for being you. For being you. That, in part, is why so many before you left this earth. They ascended from all those underlying conflicted energies by paying more attention to their inner reality and less on what appears to be outside of you. And for those of you here today that are struggling with this, a word of advice, my friends. You're not going to be able to think your way out of your discomfort or confusion. But you can choose to stop relying on that thinking process for your guidance and support. Let's take a deep breath there. Oh, we know full well that some of you like to argue with us by speaking on behalf of your thinking process, but the relief you're looking for will not come from those parts that feel traumatized. They are the ones that keep asking, when can I leave this planet? And they get really upset when we suggest, if it's the soul asking, you can leave any time you want, because it was the soul that incarnated, and it is the soul that chooses when to leave. Over 30 years ago, a collective call for a new human experience began to surface on this planet. That call was felt in every corner of creation. Do you remember? Do you remember? Many of you here today called that the harmonic convergence. To you, it represented a heartfelt desire to reunite with the presence of your soul without really knowing what that would require from your human part. In and of itself, it helped to create a global awakening, unlike anything that humanity has ever experienced at that time. Millions of human beings started to allow a more elevated physical experience. For some of you, it also included a plea for help from the angelic realms, where characters like myself do indeed exist. So many of you have grown, so many of you had grown very frustrated with the lack of true change on this planet. Despite all the energy you had put into helping to make this world a better place, you discovered all those power games and the players inside of them really didn't want what you were offering. Those of us that serve you from the non-physical realms, we heard your call, loud and clear. It took such a passionate, collective call to break through those energetic filters that have surrounded this planet for a very long time. But for that part of you that is already free, your divine presence, to have any real, lasting impact on the quality of your life here on earth, all of you were faced with another choice. A choice that hasn't come easy, and some of you still struggle with it. Are you willing to let go of a very old story? A story that each of you brought with you from your angelic families long before Earth was even created. One that had separated the light from the dark, the male from the female, the being from the doing. Here on Earth, the human from the angel. So for the last 30 or 40 years, a variety of spiritual teachers and guides began to make themselves known to you in service to integrating the presence of your soul with your human part. Initially, this was embraced with a lot of enthusiasm until many of you realized how tethered you had become to our original story. Over all these years, what started with several million who demanded that their freedom become more tangible, slowly began to shift to thousands of awakened human beings who were more willing to accept, for the most part, all the highs and lows that are a natural part of what is a very intense integration process. And would all of you not agree that such an experience has brought you to your knees? Oh, it would have been far easier to just remain ignorant of such a choice. But as you began to feel the presence of your soul begin to anchor itself into your body, you realized the freedom your heart desires only exists inside your own presence. It only exists inside your own energy. So many of you have tried to intellectualize such an experience. Numerous concepts and theories about the nature of life have entertained your mind for ages. But to actually experience the presence of your own magnificence at the front of your life, that has left some of you feeling speechless. But it didn't stop there, did it? Your human part also gave it permission, even though it doesn't need your permission to do what? To speak. To speak. And to stop calling the voice of your soul channeling. It's your voice, your true voice. That is incredibly rare, my friends. Very rare. In that experience, you're free to choose for yourself. So many of you have let go of family and friends, let go of social and political institutions, And as your reliance on your old story started to fade, what felt new to your mind felt very, very familiar to your heart. Your heart recognized this presence, even if for just a moment. And we know these brief moments are simply not enough for most of you that are here today. Indeed, your heart can still recall how this presence felt during your birth as a child. So there have been many days and many years for some of you, for many of you, realizing that this reunion between your human self and your soul is actually real. But you also realized it still wasn't fully integrated. There have been moments in your day when the presence of your soul is no longer present. And during those moments, that can feel truly depressing. Because now, without this presence, there is no true joy. There is no passion. So you spent all these years letting go of so many distractions, including for some of you, your beloved 9-to-5 job. You practice conscious breathing in a more deliberate way. And yet, the disconnect continued, like clouds moving in front of the warm rays of an afternoon sun. Many of you took it very personal, thinking that you must be doing something wrong. But what feels wrong to you feels very natural, normal to the majority of human beings. We recently spent 3 days together with a group of incredibly courageous people in our I Mystic workshop, because they too could feel that our service to the integration of your soul is beginning to shift big time. What is the most pressing issue that is facing the majority of people on the planet today? Oh, we know about the wars. We know about environmental issues. We know about spiritual, religious issues, social issues. But it might surprise you that the most pressing issue facing most people today, at least with those that use the internet, well, of course, connectivity. Connectivity. And in a way, it reflects the same issue facing your human part in relationship to your soul. There are a variety of non-physical beings like myself who serve as cosmic architects. We heard your cry for freedom, loud and clear, long ago. And we've been working overtime to help your own connectivity to your soul become more reliable, more tangible, more connected. The part that you play in all this is actually very simple. Perhaps it's too simple. But it's also one of the most difficult choices any human being could make. To simply stop doing long enough to now experience the benefits from being. Being what? Your mind asks. Well, you, of course. The real you. To acknowledge and allow what already exists from within you to come forward. And as that relates to this physical environment, Earth itself, your soul's presence over all these years has impacted the electromagnetic qualities of this planet in a very dynamic way. But the presence of the collective consciousness of this human family, as you all know, has its own magnetism. From the etheric realms, the collective presence of your human family looks like a very dark cloud. Energetically, it is incredibly dense, almost solid in appearance. To all of you, it can feel like a concrete wall separating you from your divine presence. Let's acknowledge that right now. If you're not feeling the presence of your soul, don't make it so personal. While at the same time, don't use that concrete wall as an excuse. Because, my friends, you are a creator. Let's acknowledge that it exists as a type of barrier. And then the hardest part for so many of you, let's diminish the impact it has on all of you by just accepting it for what it is. You've already discovered when you push against it, it just gets stronger, it gets more dense. It represents a collective energy that is not expanding, it's not changing, it's not growing. And then you acknowledge another presence that also exists inside of you, your soul's presence. And with every conscious breath you take, you allow how your soul feels to you. With each breath you take, you place your attention on how your soul, and only your soul, feels to you, allowing it to slowly begin to come to the surface. Let's play with that more. Place your attention, all of your attention, on your breath. And see if you can begin to breathe with that presence, as that presence. We understand initially the feeling might be faint, or it might, for some of you, only exist as a memory, but it is there. It is there. Place your attention on how good it feels to experience this non-physical version of you. And I promise you, if you devote yourself to breathing with and as this presence, slowly you'll begin to notice a shift. Some of you here today are already feeling it, as if you're now breathing as the soul. Very good. Very good. This too is self-mastery in motion. Those that walk this path before you, they also experience this concrete wall. The joy that followed from allowing their soul to surface was so profound that many of them found themselves existing in another reality. They ascended from this physical reality. But that is not your choice. And with so many eyes from so many different parts of creation watching you right now, some of you are beginning to feel some of the potentials that could literally impact creation in a very dynamic way. By offering yourself here on earth as a living example of what? Indeed, that complete opposites, the conditioned human and the unconditional soul, can indeed coexist if they are allowed. If they are allowed. Your passion to this experience of this presence in your body has shifted, has it not? Which brings us to the next part of today's session. I, Michael, work with a variety of groups on this planet. Some know me as the Archangel. Over all these years while working with Robert, we have introduced a variety of different opportunities. There have been many, but perhaps for a lot of you, you still remember the harmonic conversions as having the greatest emotional impact on your life. But what is coming on the horizon will do a lot more than just warm your heart. It will restore your passion to stay on this planet. Some will claim that there is no tangible evidence that such an experience is even real. Some will claim that we are giving you false hope just to entice you to stay a little longer. But that is not our way, to mislead any being. And out of respect to any being who wants to label this upcoming opportunity, we will continue to call it just that, an opportunity. But this one is profound. Over the years with Robert, we have spoken a lot about Christ consciousness, to the point that some of you are sick of hearing about it. Most of you accepted it at face value, but very few have actually experienced such a thing as Christ consciousness. This upcoming opportunity we are referring to is all about the experience. It provides a gateway for Christ consciousness to now enter this planet, but in a new way. Unfiltered. Unfiltered. This is new. This is very new. This gateway wasn't destined to be here. It first needed a foundation to anchor itself to. Here on Earth, it needed a few human beings who were willing to anchor such a presence inside their own body. In the form of their soul, at the core of your soul, this presence exists. But in a new way. One that will, for the most part, as usual, be completely misunderstood. But of course, so have all of your fellow masters that walked this same path before you been misunderstood. Imagine if any of them have what you have here today. The ability to actually document your own truth, your own story, using your own words. How would that have changed the human experience? My friends, it is time for a new story. We talked at length about this in our latest book with Robert. It is time for a new human species. Along the way, there have been many events that have helped to shape this earth. But beginning next spring, this new gateway will represent the beginning of all that is new. We want to thank our dear friend, Saint Germain, for officially announcing its arrival. Will it be celebrated in the streets? Will it create a new holiday, making the spring equinox truly unique? It appears not. It appears not. But will you, my fellow creators, find it much easier to be on this planet, but not of it? Indeed, you will. We can't thank you enough for your willingness, your courage to experience one layer after another of so many energies that were never yours. We jokingly at times call all of you divinely stubborn. It's a very rare virtue. Indeed it is. But going forward, there truly is a lot to look forward to. Connectivity, as it relates to all of your Wi-Fi components, has indeed improved over the years. But as it relates to the energetic presence of your soul, an open gateway to your divine presence represents a quantum leap. Any heart-centered being that spends a great deal of time in front of a computer while calculating and processing data can tell you from firsthand experience the impact of that impacts your own health and well-being. But in that situation, you're free to turn off the computer anytime you want, just to catch your breath. But the biological computer that sits inside your head, that, my friends, is processing information 24/7. Staying in front of that can be a real challenge as it relates to also being aware of the presence of your soul. As cosmic architects, we have experimented with a number of ways that could potentially help support your choice to stay connected to your soul here on Earth. A gateway offers a very free-flowing approach, a flow of energy that can be moderated to help maintain a sense of balance to best serve those who are awakened and those who have yet to awaken. None of this would be possible if not for those of you that allowed your own divine presence to be present to whatever degree that has worked for you. We recognize all of you are different. Each of you have your own unique story, your own degree of baggage, your own biological lineage connected to your body. But as we continue to act as guides into what is unknown to most human beings, all of you became more conscious of how it is you and only you that is now creating your own experience. Oh, you might have annoying neighbors, or perhaps a coworker that enjoys projecting their unresolved issues into your life. But a day will come when those incidents no longer matter, simply because of your willingness to acknowledge those parts inside of you that are doing exactly the same thing. And with this new gateway opening soon, it would also be natural to experience these underlying unresolved energies inside of you begin to really fight for their own existence. Because your divinity exposes what is real and what isn't in relationship to your natural state of consciousness. Let's go there one more time. Let's take a deep breath. with each breath you take, let yourself feel the presence of this part of you that has never been conflicted. It's there. It just got buried underneath all of those conflicted energies. And as you allow it to come forward, it can feel like a cool breeze has just passed over your body. It can feel like a sweet scent of a flower that helps to awaken your joy for being alive. More and more, all of you will rely on this presence for your support, for your guidance. More and more, you will recognize when you're not connected to your soul, and instead of finding yourself processing all those underlying emotions, you can make a conscious choice not to be used in that fashion. More and more, it is you that will decide how you choose to experience your life, because it becomes your life. You won't waste your time processing it, trying to figure it out. You'll simply choose. And you'll discover in the choice to feel the joy inside your soul how powerless all those conflicted feelings truly are. And it's why they rely on playing so many games to distract you from seeing how frightened they are. But of what? What frightens them? It's your own light. What frightens your human part in relationship to integrating the presence of your soul? It's your light. Indeed. So as we bring today's gathering to a close, and I've enjoyed this very much with all of you, thank you again for allowing me to be of service in this way. But if you're feeling disillusioned, if you've been feeling hopeless or concerned, we're here to tell you there is indeed something very tangible to look forward to. We know who we are speaking to. We know none of you accept things any longer at face value. Good for you. Neither does your new story. For it to be real, for it to become your truth, you must also experience it. And this is why we love you all so deeply. You are the ones that were willing to go through anything in order to experience the freedom inside your soul's presence. But then you also knew that such a fleeting experience wouldn't sustain you for very long. It had to evolve into a more tangible, day-to-day type of experience. So now, 2023, can you believe that, on the horizon? Now you can look forward to a much deeper experience with the subtle nature of your soul. It was your passion to experience you inside these physical bodies that has invited such an energy unlike anything this planet has ever, and we mean ever, experienced. The energy itself represents a tidal wave for change. By the grace of your soul, as long as the energy is moving, expanding, you're willing to allow this dynamic flow of energy to descend upon this planet in a way that honors what has been, and at the same time, what is now. And what is now is new to the human species. What is now present is Christ consciousness, now not seated, but in motion. It isn't spiritual, as you know that to be. It is more about your freedom to be a conscious creator of your own experience. Most of you that are watching this stream resonate with that choice. But the majority of human beings are still waiting for such a freedom to be granted to them by someone or something outside of them. Christ consciousness, however, cannot be managed. It cannot be controlled. It cannot be bought at any price. It is the original expression of the original self in motion. To reclaim such a freedom will ask of you to shift your perception of who you think you are to who you know yourself to be inside your own heart. It represents the beginning of a profound new way of life and the end of another. Through it all, we are here in service to the new creators here on earth. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to serve you as one heart to another. This is your time, my friends, to take flight, to soar above all that has limited your birthright, to be free. Take care, my friends, and remember to laugh.